All right, you ready for this?
I'm down.
Good. Let's go deep because I've been working on this quite a bit in more recent times. I found when I manage my energy and happiness, right, they're actually critical drivers in me seeing success. Right. So I'll put it this way. Let's say I'm cooking dinner and it makes me happier. It turns out that my personal life goes better and smoother and I actually gain time in that area. Or I'm rocking up to business in a better state and meetings go better and are more effective. So the knock-on effect is that I actually, by managing time through energy and happiness, are getting more of the results I want, where you would think that grinding it out would get those results. So a really, really interesting byproduct of approaching time management in this way is like counterintuitive. So I'll give you an example. You and I played golf on Monday. We had a lot of fun playing golf on Monday. Now, straight up, that's Monday, Grant. That's a business day. Shouldn't we be grinding and hustling if we want to make more money?
Society says we should, Charlie.
Yeah, but we played golf. I had a lot of fun. I was happier, right? So then in the afternoon, I was replying to emails, jumped on a Zoom, and I closed a deal because my state was great.
Yep.
So what if injecting more energy management and happiness management came into your time management thing where you got on that sales call and like you'd lit it up because you were in a great place? Or do you know what? That partnership you were working on, you did it in a better way. Or the podcast you do. Can you imagine this? If we were grinding all the time and trying to do this podcast and we're miserable. So imagine every night Hazel's picking on you about food because you're making her eat terribly prepackaged meals. And you're like, dude, man, she's been nagging at me just continually about food. Like you would just turn into this bitching and moaning machine on the podcast. Like it's inevitable.
Totally.
So state and happiness become there. So if I'm a better person for taking, and I must admit I am getting more efficient in the kitchen. It's not as long as it used to be. But if I'm going to take 30 minutes every day to cook a meal and that makes me a happier and better person, how is it not having a knock-on effect where the rest of my life is more enjoyable, I achieve my goals better, I feel better and happier, my health's better? Like, how does that knock-on effect not exist?
And that's this is why I asked the question, because like going back to the EA example that I was referring to, like Hazel's response was she actually enjoys looking for hotels. She's like, I enjoy finding the hotel with a view, and like she's like, I want it to be close to restaurants that I didn't know existed. So she's like, I want to do the research. I want to do the thing, and she's like, this is not an infinite game of efficiency, Grant. There is enjoyment along this, and then you with cooking, and I'm like, well, that's if you're pushing just to buy all your time back, well, you just outsource all those things and get other people to do them. But there is this fine line of, well, now you're trying to outsource the things that you enjoy, which actually gets you to rock up and do the things, as opposed to just eating glass all day every day, and everyone else gets to do the things that you actually want to do.
It takes some counterintuitive thinking.
So it's not
It really does.
Not a perfect equation. It's not an infinite game of buying back all your time, but it's a conscious decision.
Yeah, and I think this is where like maybe the starting point for a lot of people is doing a bit of an audit and going through like, what pays well, what gives me energy, and then like what brings me happiness, right? Really looking at those things, because the reality is if everything that gives you energy and brings you happiness doesn't make you any money, ultimately you're going to end up in a pretty poor place.
Totally.
Like, there's got to be a financial gain from that. I would also make the argument, though, that if you're selective in business model and what you do, you're very likely to find things that pay you well and give you energy, right? They do exist. So if you don't have a business you completely hate, that probably helps. Yep. And then constructing a good routine, which gets you into a great state where you can be incredibly productive. So things that take an hour. It's not like you're dragging it out and becoming ineffective in the hours you use.
Yeah. The amount of times I've been in a thinking time and I'm like, I just want to progress this, and I just push it out. I was like, yes, thank gosh, this is awesome.
Have you been challenged by this though? As you go through business and life in general, right, you level up and new things come at you. So most notably, I would say like kids has been one that I've really noticed, is like the time you want to put into your children will have that be a bigger priority, and it puts a squeeze on the other areas of your life. Potentially, it depends how good you are with your time. How have you gone with the idea that you have to let go of things that were effective in one season to be able to take on new things in the next?
I always say to the team, right? So they'll be doing something And part of me is like, I actually enjoy, the thing that I miss the most when it comes to business, Charlie, doing that thing, like smashing out that spreadsheet and sitting back and looking at it going, "Whew, I did that, Charlie."
You
Like,
totally would.
I'm like,
you totally would.
You know, when like you build something, like you build a Lego like castle with a kid and you're like, oh man, look at the creation I have made. And you get that sense of satisfaction. But the further I get on in business, Charlie, the further away I get from those things. It's almost like
I miss sales calls. I'm just going to say it.
But yeah, and so but it's the season, right? And it's like, I really enjoy doing those things, like a massive project that goes for 6 months and you look back and you go, whoa, that's awesome. I don't get that anymore. Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.